pockets. Ready, prep. Is goes. Inspection. Return. Inspection. And whistle. Inspection. Lieutenant.
Very good. Dismiss the watch.
Vice Swenson.
Sir.
Kealoha. Sir. Vice Chong. Sir. Vice Smith.
Sir.
Ranaka. Sir. Vice Trevor. 592. 611. 642.
We'll roll in about 10 minutes, okay? Thank you very much. Do not use our cell phones while we're driving, whether it's texting or talking. Our goal at the end of the shift is to get home safely. And we want to make sure everybody goes home safely. Thank you very much. Hit the road.
The Honolulu Police Department is now the 16th largest out of more than 18,000 police departments across the country. From its beginnings in the Kingdom of Hawaii through the rough and tumble days of headquarters on Bethel Street downtown, it has evolved into a vast bureaucracy with modern technology and a new language.
This is my vision for the department, making Honolulu the safest place to live, work, and play.
A tall order in this new Hawaii of cybercrime, an institutionalized drug culture, and a host of other law enforcement challenges unheard of a generation ago. It is a crime-fighting effort made more difficult by an ever-changing landscape of technology.
It is more difficult, and the reason why is, again, with the advent of technology, things move at a quicker rate, so you have to keep up with the different changes in the laws and in technology. So what that means, our officers always have to keep up with the different policy and procedures that we put into place, the law changes, and they also have to keep up with the different equipment that we use, because what happens is that if they don't keep up with it, they fall behind and they get in a rut.
Tonight, we take a look at the changing face of the Honolulu Police Department, from new technology and weaponry to a new breed of officer. When we return, we talk with Chief Louis Kealoha and go inside HPD.
In life, we all want choices. That's why HMSA gives you the freedom to choose from
else that other people miss.
I follow the evidence.
I let science and psychology tell me a story.
I uphold the law.
I believe in justice.
I connect the dots.
And I see the bigger picture.
I am a Chaminade student.
But let's talk about this first, right here. Mission statement. The values: integrity, respect, and fairness. Okay, now you're guiding, you're leading, you're supervising a police department, any organization, but especially in the police department, these are our three values. Out of these three, when you're leading an organization, what do you think is the most important value out of those three? Here's my answer. The most important when leading and guiding an organization is fairness. Why? If you break down these values, you look at integrity as how you think, you look at respect as how you feel, but you look at fairness as what you do.
When you look back on your career, is being chief all it was cracked up to be?
No, I mean, being chief is a very time-consuming job, but it's very challenging. It takes all of your time. You know, one of the things that you have to do, and I always say as a leader, you have to be present. You know, you can't be globe-trotting to places or things like that. You have to be present in the organization. You have to be available to not just the administration, but also to your officers at all times. This is all I do.
Kealoha's role is similar to other CEOs: leader, manager, disciplinarian. He is less comfortable at news conferences than when he has the opportunity to address his fellow officers. It is those times, as a teacher, when he feels truly at home.
The policies that we have over 400 policies in the department, and those guide our actions as supervisors. It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter how you feel. What it matters is what you do. So when you're disciplining your officers or you're disciplining someone, what are the things you're going to use to guide you? Policies are one. What else? The point is that you're addressing the behavior, not the person. You see what I'm saying? That's supervision 101. Always address the behavior, not the person. And that's what makes it fair. So
Kealoha is in his 5th year as Honolulu Police Chief and was recently approved for another term by the Honolulu Police Commission.
Coming in the department 30 years ago, the last thing I thought about was being police chief. I came in because I wanted to do something that matters. As I moved through my career, I started to do something to make a difference. So it became from a job all the way up to a calling. And so what that required was for me to always sharpen my skills, going back to school, and always preparing myself to be the best that I can be.
Kealoha was born and raised in Honolulu, graduated from Damien Memorial High School, and has a series of academic awards, including master's and doctoral degrees. His police career has ranged from time in narcotics vice and training to the detective division. He was not always considered chief material.
Why do you think that is, that nobody expected you?
Because, in our career, we go through evolution and we go through changes, and, like what I am today is different than when I first came in. I was, listen, or you do things wrong, things like that. But I was always joking around is what it was. So, I didn't do things wrong, like bad. It's just that I needed to be disciplined and focused in on what a law enforcement officer is. So I used to play around a lot.
But what Muhammad Ali said is right. What did he say?
He said, if you're the same person today as you were 30 years ago, then you lost 30 years of your life.
It's true.
So I used to play around a lot.
As Kealoha's administration nears its 2nd term, the department has not been without its critics.
There has been criticism that the department isn't as transparent about discipline as it should be. Is that a function of the CBA or the collective bargaining agreement?
That's part of the CBA, but here's our position on that. And I know that there's a lot of dialogue about releasing the disciplinary records of our officers. We want to be able to share the information. If our officers did something wrong, a serious conduct violation, they're going to know about it. What you don't want, and you've seen this before, is that people try to manage the department from the outside looking in, and then the police department or whatever organization you're looking at becomes a political football. And you don't want that, because then you lose the integrity of the police department. It becomes a political issue, and that violates our mission statement, which is integrity, respect, and fairness.
Nishimura was indicted by a federal grand jury in February of 2011. And here's what Police Chief Louis Kealoha said when Nishimura was indicted.
What emotions do you go through when you read about an officer being arrested or convicted?
As far as myself, you get really disappointed, but I have to think about the health of the organization, the police department, its reputation and its image. I also have to think about our officers, but most of all, what I think about is how our community now thinks about their police department. Because the number one thing that's important in any police department is public trust. Once you lose public trust, you don't have a police department.
As Kealoha has changed, so has the department. When we return, new equipment new technology, and the new officers of HPD.
Karen Kanoe was doing what she loved right before the stroke. When every minute counted, our nationally recognized team of stroke specialists was already in place. We are Polymomi, providing the highly personalized...
Actually, in the area of technology, and the advancement of computers. Before, if you look at 10 years ago, we didn't have things like Facebook, Twitter. We didn't have computers in our cars. But now it's moving so fast that we have to keep up with all the different technologies. Or for the police department, what we want to do when we speak about technology is making your job easier and doing it faster, so efficiency and effectiveness. But you can get the wrong technology. If you just jump at every new gadget that comes out and you don't do your research, what you're going to end up doing is you're going to be spending more money and it's going to take more time.
The largest single piece of technology added to the HPD arsenal in recent years is the 65-foot-long mobile unified command center. In the case of a major event or disaster, it can be operational within 30 minutes.
Well, we have radios and monitors, computers hooked up for our dispatchers or for communication purposes. We have a conference center behind me here, which would allow for meeting and planning to coordinate for the events or the disasters.
Contingency plans for 2011's APEC conference in Honolulu included the availability of the command vehicle, which was acquired with federal money. It is maintained in a remote, undisclosed location. HPD has upgraded its weapons technology as well, with the addition of the polymer-based Glock 17 handgun, which replaces the Smith & Wesson 5906, the longtime HPD weapon now being phased out of production.
For me, I think the biggest change was just because it's such a lightweight gun and a little bit more snappy recoil, and I think the way the gun is designed when you hold it, I guess the ergonomics or the shape of the gun is very different from your traditional style handguns. Okay, well basically it's composed of an all steel slide, polymer frame. Got some night sights on there. As you can see, it's a 17 round magazine, so you got a lot of bullets in there. Locks in place. Yeah, a lot more firepower. When we started this program, I was a little biased. I really didn't care for plastic guns. I thought if it wasn't steel, it wasn't worth my time. It's all drop-in fit, so there's no gunsmithing required for repairs. It's really simple to repair and operate, and cost-wise, it's a lot cheaper than the all-steel guns that were from the previous generation of pistols. So it's easy to get hooked to this gun. It's a good system.
In addition to changing technology and equipment for the Honolulu Police Department, the physical makeup and appearance of its officers is transforming. The hulking bench pressers of past recruit classes aren't as evident, replaced by lighter, more diet-conscious officers with an emphasis on cardio.
When I came in 30 years ago, a lot of it had to do with lifting weights and a lot of the anaerobic exercises, and we used to kind of focus and look at size as a part of the image of being healthy. So what you'll see in the past is our officers were a lot bigger and a lot muscular, as now you're going to see our officers are a lot slimmer and more in aerobic shape.
Instead of maxing out on reps in the weight room, all officers will soon be tested with the new CrossFit-style Hawaii Physical Ability Test, or HIPAT, considered more of a real-world test of an officer's fitness capability.
The HIPAT is an obstacle course dealing with 6 different events that you may, as an officer doing your normal duty, may come across it. You may have to climb up or walk up a flight of stairs. You may have to jump over a stone wall, over a bush. You may have to crawl through a drainage pipe. You may have to grab somebody out of a car versus doing push-ups and sit-ups. Good job. You're looking strong. Keep your intensity up. Keep your breathing. Last one. And stop. Good job. Congratulations.
The department is also instituting policies it feels will present a more positive officer image to the public. Beginning in July of this year, no visible tattoos will be allowed. They must be covered with long sleeves or makeup.
Any resistance to the tattoo policy?
Only with the guys who got the tattoos, you know. But the thing is that again, just to reiterate, is that it has nothing to do with whether or not an officer who has tattoos, visible tattoos, is a worse officer than one that doesn't have tattoos. All it has to do, number one thing, is maintaining a positive image to the community, and something that we can build public trust and confidence in our officers, but also in the police department.
When we return, we'll hit the streets with Officer Miley Nguyen.
You got it.
7-year veteran of the department. She was awarded the Warrior Bronze Medal of Valor in 2011 for her heroic actions after a series of East Honolulu home invasions and auto thefts turned into a shootout.
Actually, it was kind of started right here, this freeway. We were at a school doing a case, and we heard other officers, shots fired, and kind of happened in slow motion. We just kind of stopped, froze, and let it process, and then we jet down towards Aina area, this freeway. He was trying to go to the shopping center, towards McDonald's, and that's where Jimmy and I stopped him.
Nguyen's husband is also a police officer. They have 2 children. Officer Nguyen began her professional life as a graphic designer, but says she soon found the need for something more challenging. Being a police officer was not on her radar.
I had a misconception of what police work is. I think television shows like Cops and Law and Order, I think it exaggerates, and it makes you think differently of how real police officers work. I haven't been a police officer in any other part of the world, but I know that policing in Hawaii is different than any other place. It's the culture. I know that when I grew up in the Midwest, and my idea of a police officer was, don't bother them. They're doing something important, don't bother them. It's not important. That's just unless it was really dangerous and I needed help, that's when you, but here, Hawaii, 911 is just like the catch-all. HPD does a lot of services. We're dog catchers, we're parents, we're counselors, we're peacekeepers. Most of the time we're mediators for people who just need that unbiased party there to just knock it off and separate. And sometimes it takes a stranger to interject into something to point out the obvious.
Unlike many other professions, the percentage of women on the force has remained fairly static in recent years. Women make up only 12% of the more than 2,000 sworn officers in HPD. That's less than the 18% average for other departments across the nation. What's it like being a woman officer?
It has a lot to do with where your niche is in your watch. Sometimes female officers are needed for other things. Like sometimes people just won't talk to a male officer, especially people that have been victimized. So that's something that I know that my watch can use me for sometimes. Kids, they relate to women officers too.
What do you think the public doesn't know about the job of a police officer that you'd like them to know?